I'll try to keep it as short as possible. That's the real reason why everyone's here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Josh, and I'm the best man today. I guess you can call me the best brother. Well, actually, I wouldn't say I'm the best brother. Brian asked William to be his best man first. Willie said there was no way in hell he was getting up here. That's an actual quote. So I was the only other option. I'm glad to be here to celebrate with so many friends and family from not only this area, but around the country. There's relatives from Florida, Colorado, Maryland, Illinois, parts of Connecticut, and Rhode Island. We even have a cousin that came in from Spain to be here. It's amazing how far people come for that free meal. But anyways, let me tell you a little bit about my relationship with Brian. We met in the 90s. Back when our mom and dad thought it would be a good idea to get a family hot tub. I think it was supposed to be a cool thing to have at the time, but they soon realized how bad of an idea it was the first time I tried to drown Brian in it. You can probably guess we sold the hot tub. You're welcome, Barb and Greg, wherever you guys are. They got the hot tub. If you look at old family photos, like ones from us entering high school, you'll notice Brian started to lift weights and pack on some major muscle. Some might have said he started to look like a young bodybuilder. While I, on the other hand, looked like my mom didn't feed me. If it weren't for you, Brian, taking gluten and dairy out of your diet, I don't think I would have ever caught up to you. Thanks for that, Joe. Thanks for Because Brian was always bigger than me growing up, I knew it was a bad idea to try to get into physical altercations with him. It didn't mean I didn't try to get into them, but I tried to outsmart him whenever I did. I'd wait for him to maybe get me in a headlock or something like that, and I'd pretend I couldn't breathe, gasping for air. The nice person Brian was immediately let go, thinking he was causing me physical harm. But I obviously was faking it. Right away I'd throw some kind of cheap shot and run away. There were so many situations of us throwing objects at each other, you wouldn't believe it. If I told you what those things were, the most notable, though, was probably the time I was heaving Florida oranges at each other in the hallway of our Stonington house. There was juice everywhere. Once William and Caitlin came into the picture, I knew the rivalry was dying down and a friendship was starting to emerge. I don't know what did it, though. Maybe it was when we used to make William and Caitlin run across the basement floor and we'd throw couch pillows at their legs. Don't worry, it was totally safe. We made sure that there was dog beds at the other side. Or maybe it was when Brian thought it was a good idea to bounce Willie at 3 years old up and down on a couch, breaking his leg. He was so upset, I tried to console him though, telling him, it's okay man, you only broke one leg, and he's not too bad. I won't make much more fun of Brian now because we all know, A, he went to law school, well, I barely graduated college. B, he just did that slow dance with Jill, so we'll be laughing at that probably throughout the night. And, C, let's be honest, making fun of Brian is really hard to do. Brian really has some great qualities about him. I've always looked up to the goals Brian made. He made for himself, and it's in ways helped me push myself to match up to him. In grade school, Brian was always the most mature. He knew he wanted to be a lawyer from a young age, while the rest of his class was probably worried about girls liking them and hair growing out of weird places. But honestly, who wants to be a lawyer when they're 10? I can tell you right now, I told my parents I wasn't going to go to college and was going to play in the major leagues or something. I'm sure you can guess which one they're more proud of today. Or even Brian's determination. No, seriously. He went to 5 colleges and still graduated in 4 years. And by 5 colleges, I mean he went to UConn twice, Bridgewater State twice, WestConn once. Jill, are you sure you want to do this? He's clearly got commitment problems. Whether it's his smarts. Only Brian could jump around to that many schools and still get a 4.0. Well, I went to one school and barely, well, whatever. Or even his goal setting. He set a goal to start varsity football his sophomore year, to play football in college, to graduate law school, to land a job right after he graduated. While me, on the other hand, graduated almost 4 years ago and actually have to go 3,000 miles away just to get someone to hire me. Which is crazy. There is and always was a reason to admire Brian. Little brothers learn from their older brothers. Yeah. Anyways, enough of patting Brian on the back. Today is about Brian and the love of his life, the gym. I can tell Brian has been working out extremely hard these last few months to be in the best shape of his life for his honeymoon pictures. No, Jill, wasn't to impress you. In all seriousness, I know Brian really wanted to marry Jill. Brian had been prepared to propose to Jill for a while, but realized he wanted to be financially independent first. I think it was an obvious decision he made. I agree that it was important for him to be able to pay for his own things once he was a married man, instead of being a 27-year-old married man whose parents still put money in his debit card and take his car to get the oil change. Well, they still do that last one, but you get the point. Well, last year around Christmas time, Brian called me. I knew it was important because Brian never calls me. He said he was going to propose to Jill. He wanted to videotape it so he could show us afterwards. I didn't say anything to him at the time, but I thought that was kind of a creepy thing to do. I could tell, though, by the sound of his voice that he had no hesitation. I also had no hesitation when I said, "Congrats, man," because I knew, finally, I wasn't a 25-year-old that still shared a bedroom with his 27-year-old brother. But instead, now I'm a 25-year-old that basically shares his bedroom with his 18-year-old brother. Brian never thought it was cool to get a high school ring or even a college ring. But I can tell he is proud to show off the ring he got today, and more proud to show off his new wife. Jill, it's not always easy to go into a family that you don't know. There are a bunch of personalities that you have to get used to and realize they won't change. Like mine. I'm an extremely curious person. For example, the first night Brian brought you to meet us, you told us you and Brian met at the bar. But I knew that couldn't be true. I tried to get Brian to go to the bar with me every weekend at UConn, with him always saying no. Actually, I had trouble getting anyone to go to the bar with me, including women, so I guess that makes sense now that I think about it. I'll forever make fun of your celiacs, and I will always get annoyed when you tell Brian to do stuff for you. Mainly because I have been asking Brian to do stuff for me for 20 years and he still doesn't listen. I can tell you're hardworking and passionate with everything you do, and it seems like you make my brother happier than I ever could. From what I have seen, it has been pretty crazy getting things ready for this wedding. The fact you two showed up today must mean you actually do love each other. So Jill, or Julie Bean, welcome to the family. I don't know why I started calling you Julie Bean. It was probably because you called me Joshy Bear first. I thought Julie Bean would be a dumber nickname, so I guess I won. But now your last name is Boyer. You'll begin to realize how many different ways a simple last name can be pronounced, and learn to always just say, "Yeah, that's it." It'll be good for you, though, because if you ask any of the Boyers here, part of being a Boyer is learning to just go with the flow. It's what we do. Brian and Jill, I'm happy for the both of you. So let's all raise a glass to the reason we came here tonight, free booze. Just kidding. And I'm going to go hug you guys now, and then we get to eat, so.